What's going on, everybody? Kyle Powers here, Haven Real Estate Group at eXp Realty. I'm here with another episode of Local Legends of the Flint Hills, where business meets community. I've got Danielle TM here with me with Liquid Art Winery in the States, right? I got that right? Thank you so much for joining me today.
You're welcome.
Let's go ahead and just dive right into everything, right? Tell us about the moment in time where you're like, you know what? I'm gonna do wine for the rest of my life.
You bet. So it kind of all started back in 2007. Back in the college days, it was our freshman year of college, and I met a boy in speech class. His name was David TM, and he shared with me a passion that was already ongoing. He was growing vineyards at his family's farm in Northeast Kansas, and I went to his vineyards a few times, kind of fell in love with it, and I actually changed my degree. He told me, you know what? One day we could own a winery. I can make the wine and you can sell it. So I changed my degree to marketing, in which case I stayed at K-State and finished my degree, and then he went out to California where he got his degree in enology, which is the chemistry of winemaking.
Love at first wine, right?
It was.
Obviously, K-State, purple runs deep in most people's blood, but why did you guys choose Kansas? Why did you choose to come back home to that area?
Great question. So I am originally from Wichita, and David is from Northeast Kansas. And when he was at school at K-State, he worked under Dr. Boggs, who is now retired, still a favorite customer of ours. And he actually did an exchange program over in France. Okay. And while he was there, he learned about the topography and the soil of France, particularly the Bordeaux area. And when he came back, he saw, particularly on Highway 18, the hillsides carved out. And he said that limestone and the soil almost are identical to France. So with that being said, he did a lot of research into the topography and soil and climate, and kind of researched what this area looks like for grapes. And I still remember the conversation. He said, we're coming back to Manhattan one day to build this winery of ours. It's just a matter of when. And little did you know that's what we ended up doing. Diving
into that piece of it, right? You guys have been here 8 years. How's it been?
Yeah, it has been quite the adventure. Yeah. It's a labor of love. We started in 2016, where we have our tasting room, which is open to the public. And slowly over the years, we've expanded to being open 5 days. We have our event center that hosts up to 375 people for weddings, corporate events, and then our full production winery, where we make everything here on site. We've also expanded our vineyards, which I can easily tell you guys a little bit more about. But it has just been a blast being able to grow our business. Since we opened in 2016, we also expanded in 2018 so we could start bottling our hard cider and increasing our wine production for all of the vineyards that are coming into fruition. And that being said, we have grown a really great team that has really helped build our business. We have a winemaker that does a great job at making wines and crafting different ciders for our test taps. Then we have Catherine, our manager, who does our food menu on site, growing our barrel room offerings, things like that. So 8 years, but it only feels like one.
It all runs together, right?
It does.
Let's talk about the event space. What do you guys offer for events, and what do you specialize with that?
Yes, so we have an event center for up to 375 people. For weddings, we typically cap out at about 300 just for seating capacity. Weddings are our primary focus in the event center just because of the nature of that side of business, because we also have 2 different outdoor ceremony locations. So we have our new amphitheater, which is outdoors. It has a concrete pad with an awning and a beautiful setting overlooking the vineyard. We also have our vineyard knoll, which overlooks the Flint Hills, so you get a 360 view of that. So we have outdoor locations for ceremonies, but we can also host them indoors as well. So whether it's the winter months or if it gets rained out, we have kind of a plan B option. We also do different fundraisers, corporate events, anything that you want for a private event, we can host it. We also have our barrel room, which is where we're talking today. Yeah. It is brand new within the last year. We host over 40 wine barrels where we are aging red wine. So it is a production space. And then I threw in a bunch of furniture and kind of redid the space as well so that we can offer smaller events for less than 50 people. So baby showers, bridal showers, things like that we can offer. But then we also do a lot of winery hosted events. So doing more like winery tours, wine and food pairings, things like that where you can kind of enhance what you expect to have at a winery can be hosted in this room.
So you guys started with the main room, right? You started with that main room, the main stuff, and you came up with the initial bottles and everything that came with when you rolled out Liquid Art. Couple things I'm curious about. I'm going to ask two of them right at the same time. Number one, how did you come up with the first bottles that you were going to roll out with? And then number two is, how did you come up with the name?
So the name is an interesting story because met David early in college, became a marketing student. So he had actually had the name back in high school. But he would not tell me the name until after we were married. I don't know if it's just because I was marketing or sales or what. So we just kind of joke about that. Okay. But when he was in high school, he visited a winery in Virginia. And when he was doing a winery tour, the winemaker said, "Liquid art is crafted by the vintner's hand." And right then and there, he put in his mind that if I ever own a winery one day, it will be called Liquid Art. So we have some of his original sketches from, the 2005 era. Logo has changed a little bit since then, but he started growing grapes when he was about 15. So a lot of our original vintages came from that original vineyard. Yeah. I can't say when I was 15 I was thinking that far into my future, but David was. So that fortunately let us kind of get started before our estate vineyard got off the ground.
That's fantastic. That's awesome. Yeah, at 15, I definitely was not worrying about the future that far in advance. I was worried about maybe where I was going to college. So that's fantastic. Okay, so he had it from roots, I guess we'll call it that way, right? Had everything going on that side of it. So this actually segues very well. So what is the process, right? From vine to wine, as you said. What does that process look like? Being a winery, the vineyard takes about 3 to 5 years to come into production. Okay. So before we ever broke ground on the building, we started planting our state vineyard in 2015. We planted 10 acres, and then over the years, we've expanded to over 20, I believe. So it all starts with the vines. To us, it was very important that we could control the quality that came out of the vineyard, because ultimately, that controls the quality of your wine. Sure. Also, way back when, starting at about 15, David realized that the marketing side of wine, people buy what they recognize. Sure. So they go to the liquor store and they might recognize Chardonnay, Cabernet Sauvignon. Those are all European grape varietals that don't grow in the Midwest. Napa Valley, Europe, places like that are known for those varietals. So he actually came up with a type of technology, it's patented, that allows us to grow those varietals here in Kansas. Okay. So to our knowledge, we're the only ones that have successfully done that. And I believe it was in 2017 or 18, we started partnering with other ranchers and farmers around the state of Kansas, where they own the vineyard. We just come in, we build the vineyard and maintenance it and maintain it, and then we have first right to the fruit. So that's where a lot of our Kansas-grown products come from, is working with places across the state. We have places that are here local in Manhattan that go as far south as Marion County, and then as far up north as Nemaha County. So we kind of spread the vineyard out throughout Kansas. It kind of goes along the lines of, please don't put all of your eggs in one basket. If we would have a hailstorm or anything like that, it can take out the entire harvest. So it all kind of starts with the vines, essentially. Yeah. All of our products are Kansas-grown grapes. We do have a production site here at the winery. So this room that we're in used to be our old production space, and we outgrew that quite quickly. Yeah, so we expanded in 2018. We make everything here. So we bring the grapes to our crush pad. We process the grapes, in which case it goes into our tanks where we do all the fermentations. Aging-wise, it takes about a year or plus for our red wines, and whites a minimum of 6 months. So we look at harvesting in the fall, and then as early as spring, we can release the wine. But typically it takes us about a year before we're ready to
release those wines. All of our red wines in barrels take a lot longer. We've released some single barrels that have been in barrel for a minimum of 12 months, but there's a lot more time in barrel than in stainless steel tanks. So everything's currently aging here in the barrel right now.
What does that planning process look like for you? So it's like, I'm assuming it's you on that side. He does the wine, you do all the marketing and planning everything out. What does that look like? So you're thinking year to 5 years in advance. What does that look like for you just logistically?
So I may or may not touch on kind of what you're going at.
Okay.
He does all of the forethought planning as to what kind of harvest are we going to get. I know nothing about vines and vineyards. So on my end, I'm trying to think of labels and things like that that we might need. So I have a friend, Becky, who helps design all of the labels and everything. So that's kind of quite the process because of all of the regulations and stuff that we have to go through. But you're right, we do start a minimum of 6 months out before we ever even want to release the wine because we do all the bottling and everything on site as well. So we do the bottling, the corking, we hand dip all of our bottles in wax. So kind of from start to finish, we do it all. But there is quite the logistics to it.
Yeah, so you're 6 months in advance then is what you're thinking. Okay, very cool. All right, well, let's dive into the wines and the ciders. I know you guys do a lot of that stuff. So what are your favorites? Right? Both to consume and to make, I guess. We'll go that route of it. What are your favorites?
I personally love red wine. Most people that start drinking wine, they start with the sweeter stuff, which I definitely did back in college. But now I have kind of grown to all of our dry reds. So that is one thing that also kind of makes us different here in Kansas is a lot of Midwest wineries focus on sweeter wines, where we kind of have everything. We have sweet, dry, red, and white. And my favorites are obviously what is in the barrels because they are our dry, well-aged reds. Again, all of them grown from Kansas grapes, so that adds kind of a little extra special touch. And then the hard ciders are a lot of fun because we change them routinely. We have some of them in bottle, and then our winemaker, Bart, he actually keeps up with all of our different seasonals. So he's recently released a wild berry sage, a strawberry sunrise, and that's kind of fun for our consumers because there's usually something always different on tap when they come out to visit us. Sadly, we don't get them all bottled per request, but something new nonetheless.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So coming out here, what can you expect as a patron, as somebody coming out to just enjoy a bottle of wine? What can they expect as they come out?
Yeah, so we are open Wednesdays through Sundays. We have a full beverage and food menu. So for drinks, we have the wine and cider that we make here on site. We also have beer. And then if you attend our barrel room events, we also have our hard liquor license, in which Subin and Catherine, some of our team members, create a whole special exclusive cocktail menu. And then for food, we offer our kitchen offerings during all tasting room hours as well. We have different varieties of our charcuteries, artisan pizzas, flatbreads, and dessert pizzas. Our flatbreads, we kind of also do different seasonal ones. So that's also kind of fun that our menu changes. And then with the barrel room, we have an exclusive barrel room small plate menu as well. So different offerings there. We are kid friendly. We just ask that the kids are watched while they're on site because we are a working farm, and we are also dog friendly for our patios. So most people that come out, they tend to spend a good hour or two here while they just hang out on the patios and eat and drink. We have bocce ball and cornhole as well. So there's a few different kind of activities. Or we have a lot of different places where you can kind of walk around to just either enjoy the nature or to get some peace and quiet as well.
And it is. I'll tell you guys too, the views out here are just fantastic. So that's just, even if you don't drink the wine or the ciders, just come and enjoy the views, and I think you'll be happy with that part of it too. So so your kitchen's open most times. You guys are open then, is that kind of the deal?
Yep.
Okay.
During all tasting room hours.
Awesome. That's awesome. I guess I didn't realize that either. So that's fantastic. So you guys have been open 8 years now. What does this is a family run business, family run farm. What does the future of Liquid Art look like for you?
Yes, so we will continue to offer what we currently offer. We just started doing winery tours as well. If people want to see kind of behind the scenes and what that looks like. We recently went to the county and decided to get approval on some new expansion projects that we have. Okay. In the last couple of years, if you visited, you've noticed that we redid our amphitheater. It was a very small, intimate setting with bench seating, and we kind of redid the hillside, added a stage so we can start hosting concerts for up to 3,000 people. Wow. Yeah. So we just got done with the construction on the amphitheater last year. Okay. Now we're just, doing final pieces, letting the sod kind of take root, things like that. We're looking at starting to also book events as well. So we're hoping that the community is really excited for an outdoor natural amphitheater for some great entertainment. Yeah. Along with our plans, we also got approved if we want to do some luxury cabins. Okay. We get on premise staying questions quite a bit. So that has been approved. If we wanted to expand our event center with additional event space, if we wanted to expand our kitchen to meet more of a full-blown restaurant, and some RV spots. So right now the amphitheater is completed and almost up and running. The other ones are just expansion plans if we want to do them in the next few years.
3,000 people. Holy cow. That's fantastic. I did not realize you guys even had that much room for that much people up here. So that's amazing. Okay. Well, that just blew my mind. So that's awesome. So I guess let me ask that. Let's take it that way. So when are you planning on having your first concert? Can you tell me yet? And then do you want to tell who it is yet or no?
So I can't spoil any surprises. We are looking as early as this fall. There's a few moving pieces that still kind of have to be worked out. Otherwise, it would be 2025.
Sure. That's awesome. That's fantastic. So, okay. So coming in, obviously you have your walk-in hours, you have all that kind of stuff. How does someone watching this video, how do they get a hold of you? How do they take advantage of the event space, in bookings and everything that way? What does that look like for them?
Yeah. So for the tasting room, we do not do reservations. Okay. It's kind of first come, first serve. If you have a larger group and you want to just let us know that you're coming by, that's great. You can give us a call. Otherwise, a lot of our information can be found on our website. So if you're interested in booking either the barrel room or our event space, we have either online inquiry forms that you can fill out or contact information directly to either myself or Catherine. Yeah, just social media or our website. If you're wanting to just come out and enjoy some of our winery hosted events, we typically post all of that on our website or on our Facebook, in case you want to purchase tickets or see what we kind of have going on.
Do you want to give the Facebook?
Yeah, so our website is liquidartwinery.com. Our menu is also online through our tasting room tab. We also have our upcoming events tab. So if you want to just come out for a special event, or if you're out of state and want to ship some wine, we also have that option on our website. We also have our Facebook, which is under Liquid Art Winery, and our Instagram as well. Okay.
No, that's awesome. What about your events? I know that you guys do a lot of like trivia nights and things like that. I guess let me ask it this way. Who does that? Do you part of the marketing plan for you on that side of it? And how do you come up with the types of events and stuff that you're doing here?
Yeah, I have an amazing team that does all of our events for us. Okay. So we have particularly Catherine, our tasting room and venue manager, as well as Lindsay, one of our event coordinators and hospitality specialists, and Kinsey, who does all of the graphic design and postings online. So it's a team effort for sure. Yeah. They kind of come up with all the fun, crazy ideas. So we just recently had like a puppy party on the patio. We do a lot of stuff outdoors during the winter or summer months. Outdoor yoga, things like that. And then during the winter, we do a lot indoors. So kind of year-round events are our specialty.
No, and again, follow them on Facebook and Instagram just to kind of get to all that side of it too. So, all right. So before we wrap up, I always like asking this question. So whether it's entrepreneur, whether it's someone in the wine business, whatever it is there anything else that you want to add to the viewers and say one more time before we end up?
I would just like to add that community support to small businesses and entrepreneurs is extremely important. So thank you to everybody that has supported us in the past and will continue in the future. Tell your friends, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. For any future entrepreneurs out there, the risk is always worth the reward. There's a lot of time put into owning a business, but it's all worth it in the end, especially if you have a really great team that helps support you and build and grow with you.
Yeah. The late nights, the sleepless nights are worth it. Well, Danielle, thank you so much for taking the time with me today. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate everything you've done for our community and bringing this winery right in the middle of Manhattan, Kansas, which is a fantastic spot to be at. So thank you again for that side of it. Come check this place out. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Do you want to tell them where they can find bottles of wine and how they can get that?
Yeah. All of the Manhattan liquor stores, for the most part, carry our products, particularly all of our wines. Right now, we only have our apple pie cider bottled. So that one can be found in liquor stores as well. And again, if you're from out of state or anything like that, you can also order wine from our website.
Okay. No, that's perfect. So there you go. So come into Manhattan or order on the website and they'll ship it to you guys and get it that way. So thank you so much for watching this video today. I really do appreciate it. Again, you will not be disappointed by coming out here and seeing what Liquid Art has. They take very good care of you when you're out here. They take good care of the place as well. So thank you again for joining me today. I really appreciate it. If you guys haven't done so already and you enjoy this content, please go and hit that subscribe button. Please go and hit that share button, share this video with someone. Please go and hit that like and go ahead and hit that little bell so you get notified of any future content. Come out and say hi to these guys, have them kind of show you around the place and take one of the winery tours as you go out here. This is another episode of Liquid Art. I almost said Liquid Art. Local legends of the Flint Hills. So thank you so much, and until next week.